I think we're getting the point, both from Lorelei and from Dave, that Kern County is a powerhouse for energy development and production. Kern County is home to Midway Sunset, the second largest oil field in the United States, and oil is still our dominating energy sector, with large companies that hire thousands of employees to smaller independent facilities that employ dozens of employees in well-paying, skilled labor positions. And it is equally true that over the last several decades, we've expanded our renewable energy portfolio, driving east on Highway 58. You can't help but notice the towering wind turbines that line the beautiful hills and mountains near Tehachapi. Kern County has sunshine and increasingly has solar energy to power homes, offices, and electric cars. As I've started getting into this energy conversation, I'm also reading up on other promising developments, like in Delano. We are tapping into a rich agricultural resources to develop biomass energy using leftover debris from crop harvesting. And then recently, in talking to CRC, I know they're embarking on an exciting new carbon sequestration project funded by the U.S. Department of Energy at its Elk Hills facility. And with the discovery of lithium at the Rio Tinto mine in Boron, and we just spoke recently to them, Kern County is positioned again to be a leader in natural energy resources as everything from phones to electric cars become more reliant on batteries made from this rare element. So the last question, as we go towards our wrap up, Dave, back to you. NREL is leading the way in cutting edge research that will drive the energy economy. Could you dive a little deeper into a couple of leading research areas that might be particularly relevant to Kern County?
Yeah, there are many. I've touched on them to some degree, but I will dive a little bit deeper. I think a huge opportunity across a number of different storage technologies for Kern County. I do think that it's the next sort of big thing in the power sector anyway, is in energy storage. And this was, I concluded that there were great opportunities in Kern County for storage, even before I now have just learned about this lithium discovery. So there could be the full supply chain potentially for lithium ion storage. So again, also with the energy infrastructure that already exists in Kern County for the power system, it's a natural location for locating electricity storage technologies. So a lot of our integrated energy pathways work is about integration, about how to make different technologies that have different operating characteristics, like wind and solar. You know, the conventional power system has operated in complete balance at all times. There's just enough supply to meet demand by and large, but that was in a paradigm where utilities could control precisely the output of the generating plants. And with wind and solar, that's not true. The resources are variable, and we can't control it. The sun shines when it shines. It shines a lot in Kern County, fortunately. Not a lot of partly cloudy days to worry about. But the wind also comes and goes. So it makes operating the power system in a reliable way a little more challenging. And that's a lot of the research that we do is around that. And storage is certainly going to be a major component in allowing larger and larger amounts of wind and solar on the system. So that's an area where we are doing considerable research, and utilities. Our research has come a long way but utilities have also come a long way in understanding the relationships between markets and technologies and how all of that interacts. Electrons to molecules I've talked about in all of the segments so far, but I do think that there's so much relevance to Kern County and the use of abundant wind and solar, especially in periods when there is more wind and solar generation than there might be demand in the system. You can take those surplus electrons, if I can call them that. You can take those surplus electrons and you make chemicals and you make fuels and you perhaps make hydrogen to run through electrolyzers or fuel cells later to generate electricity again. So there's a lot of opportunity there. We're also doing more multi-systems research. So looking at the interactions between the power system and the natural gas system. There's a lot of interdependency there. Are the interdependencies between power system and water? And I know that in some upcoming workshops that we're planning, there's going to be some focus on the energy, water, and food nexus. And I'll conclude by referring to some very exciting research that some of our colleagues have done at NREL. One of our researchers, Jordan Machnick, has published some very interesting work that shows it's a new term is being coined called agrovoltaics. So the combining in space, the physical combining of photovoltaic arrays and agriculture is showing a lot of really beneficial synergies for both the production of PV from those arrays, but also the productivity of crops that are built underneath the arrays. So some very interesting stuff to talk about when we come to that. And because of the diversity of the landscape and the resources in Kern County, from very productive agricultural regions to highly productive solar regions, there's a lot of opportunity there. I think we could do some very important research together in the energy, water, food nexus space.
Thank you, Dave. Lorelei, your last chance.
Well, I think in 10 years that Kern County is going to be the center of excellence for carbon management for the entire United States, and we're going to produce 25,000 new jobs in 10 years. And I invite us to take that on as a goal, because when the recession happened and we started our renewable energy, we already had a little bit of wind. We had no idea what we could produce, but that is who Kern County is. Hardworking people, resilient, smart. We have the best engineers in the oil industry. We have people who want to work. And now we have the best national research lab in the world. So I think we can do it. 10 years, Center of Excellence for Carbon Management in the entire United States is Kern County, with 25,000 new jobs in all sectors, not just energy.
We are there for that, Lorelei. I think that's an awesome goal. That it pretends of a very exciting research portfolio, as well as really very directly connected to economic development. So we're there with you.
Well, I think Lorelei sees the future. She's the soothsayer for Kern County, and this bright future is something that's exciting. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Lorelei. And just a few comments before I hand it over to Liz to take us to the finish line. Dave mentioned the intersection between food, water, agriculture and energy, and that is going to be the focus of the U.S. Department of Agriculture grants that KCCD is going to be applying for. So that's very exciting. And you've heard from our chancellor, Tom Burke, and he has made it really clear that the Kern Community College District is fully in the conversation, my dear friends. We are ready to educate our future energy workforce, expanding on the solutions we have started, ready to expand the collaboration to fully realize the potential of our workforce, and ready to take full advantage of our uniquely rich geographical landscape. On that note, let me ask Liz Roselle to come back and wrap up our webinar. Thank you.